A Business Job Guide 1. Chapter 1. A Business Job Guide 1. Business Grad Job Search Websites. AMANA.org, American Management Association. Anderson.ukla.edu/cmc. Anderson.ukla.edu/resources/cmc. Bandon.com, has a specialty practice in MBA recruiting. bus.umich.edu bus.umich.edu/companies/OCD. bus.umich.edu/companies/OCD/index.html. Columbia.edu/cu/business/career. cso.bus.utexas.edu. Darden.virginia.edu/career. Darden.virginia.edu/career/career_recruiter.htm. Darden.virginia.edu/students/ss_affairs_orgs.htm. Dartmouth.edu/tuck/jobs/index.html. Emory.edu/bus/recruiters/index.html. Employers, kellogg.nwu.edu/career/perspective/index.htm. empowergrp.com, researching MBA recruiting. fuqua.duke.edu. fuqua.duke.edu, National Survey of MBA Graduates of Top-Tier Business Schools. fuqua.duke.edu/admin/cso. gsb.stanford.edu. wesley.stanford.edu/cmc. gsb.stanford.edu/cmc. gsia.cmu.edu. gsia.cmu.edu/afs/andrews/gsia/cock. haas.berkeley.edu. haas.berkeley.edu/career center. hbs.edu/career_services. hbsb.harvard.edu, Harvard Business School Press. iesc.edu/companies/index.html. iesc.edu/companies/index.html. inseed.fr/mba/career1.htm. johnson.cornell.edu/cservices.html. kellogg.nwu.edu.career/employer/empric.htm. kellogg.nwu.edu/career. kellogg.nwu.edu/career/employer/index.htm. 4. keenanflagler.unc.edu/program/mba/career. cornferry.com. london.edu/recruiters. marshall.usc.edu/career/index.html. mba.georgetown.edu/mbacm. mba.vanderbilt.edu/external/corp_center.htm. mbacareers.wharton.upenn.edu. management.purdue.edu/program/masters/mpo. news.kellogg.nwu.edu/script/club dir/club dir.asp, student club. olin.wstl.edu/wcrc/employers. pacioli.bus.indiana.edu/gcs. salary.com. simon.rochester.edu/corp/corp-shell.htm. stern.nyu.edu/ocd. stern.nyu.edu/ocd. thembanewsletter.com. tuck.dartmouth.edu. tuckjobs.com. wesley.stanford.edu/cmc/clubs.html. wharton.upenn.edu/action/recruit.html. Harvard Business Career Services. MBA Career Services. Harvard Business School. Soldiers Field. Boston, Massachusetts 02163. 617-495-6232. Fax, 617-495-8947. mbacs@hbs.edu. hbs.edu/career_services. hbs.edu. Association business job website / work for an association organization. Association or club managers manage the administrative tasks of all manner of organizations, associations, and clubs, both for profit and non-profit. Most trade / professional organizations exist to either lobby for political change or to offer information in exchange for money. They are for-profit ventures. The manager operates them to make money. You can start a trade association in your field, advertise in the right magazines and get press releases printed up, charge membership fees. Charge for a monthly newsletter and organize conventions, all to make money while helping your fellow kindred trade folk. Rather than start up a trade association, you can also be an independent contractor who offers to do the administrative work of existing associations. In cases where an association cannot yet justify hiring a full-time administrative director, they often turn to people that contract professional administration services. In addition to providing needed administrative direction and support, the association management service provider frees up volunteer time to focus on the mission, policies, and program strategies for which the association exists. Association management service providers can charge up to $35 per hour and earn up to $52,000 per year working 30 hours a week. The duties association management service providers may perform range from simple filing to public speaking or lobbying. The job description includes just about anything it takes to serve members and keep an organization well-oiled. The scope of the work needs to be defined with your clients and agreed upon between you and association leaders to which you will report. Some of the tasks are collecting dues, keeping membership lists, coordinating newsletters and other literature about the organization, answering phone calls, receiving, distributing and responding to mail, organizing meetings and conventions, booking speakers, or personally doing public speaking on behalf of the association, fundraising, helping with events, coordinating fund drives and mailings, bookkeeping, ordering of supplies, maintenance of equipment, office cleanliness, etc. To get going in your new business, you will need to start by finding a way to tap into an industry either you know something about or can learn something about to get started. Become familiar with the dynamics of how the industry operates. If you discover a special interest group without an association, start your own. Do some targeted marketing to recruit members. Send direct mailings. Find out what trade magazines they read and advertise in them. It may be the beginning of your new association. ASAEnet.org, Association of Association Executives. AssociationDirector.org. CMA.org. Clubindustry.com. EventCenter.com. Partners.com. Stream-Express.com. AdobeConnect.com. AdvancingWomen.com. AssociationForum.org, Association Forum of Chicagoland. AssociationTrends.com, weekly news about the association and industry partner community. CCL.org, Center for Creative Leadership. PFDF.org, Leader to Leader Institute to strengthen the leadership of the social sector. NPTimes.com, Nonprofit Times. USAEnews.com, the weekly community newspaper of associations, convention and visitors bureaus, and hotels. ASAEcenter.org. CareerHQ.org. TechnologyConference.org. GreatIdeasConference.org. SpringtimeExpo.com. MMCConference.org, Marketing, Membership, and Communications Conference. FHRBuck.org, Finance, HR, and Business Operations Conference. ASAEAnnualMeeting.org. AccessAssociations.org, Supplier Partner Corner. AssociationsNow.com. ASI.careerhq.org/job/search, find a job. ASI.careerhq.org/HR/jobs, post a job. ThePowerofa.org, Power of A. CQRCengage.com. ASAEBuyersGuide.com, Buyer's Guide. ABSISolutions.com/EBS, Endorsed Business Solutions. American Society of Association Executives. 1575 I Street NW. Washington, D.C. 20005. 202-626-2723. asaenet.org. Club Management Magazine. 107 West Pacific Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri 63119. Clubmanagement.com. For managers of private clubs like the Kiwanis Club or the local golf club. Club Managers Association of America. 1733 King Street, Alexandria, Virginia 22314. 703-739-9500. CMA.org. Executive Career Services Weekly. Institute of Association Management. Companies. 104 Wilmette Road, number 201. Deerfield, Illinois 60015. 708-940-8800. International Military Community Executives Association. 1800 Diagonal Road, number 285. Alexandria, Virginia 22314. 703-548-0093. National Club Association. 3050 St. N.W. number 330. Washington, D.C. 20007. 202-625-2080. Club Director Bi-monthly. Business Statistics Job Websites. jobs.imstat.org, Institute of Mathematical Statistics. maa.org/pub/employ.html. ams.org/ams/ams_jobs.html, American Mathematical Society. mstat.org/careers, American Statistical Association. Chapter 2. A Business Job Guide to Business Valuation/Business Appraisers. Business valuation is figuring out the value of a business. You can do a quick analysis of the business's worth by looking at the balance sheets, which should reveal what the business owns and what it owes. The balance sheet should state what equipment and property the company owns and what its liabilities are. With roots in the accounting/financial consulting industry, business valuators and business appraisers, also called private equity analysts, analyze businesses to determine their value for a variety of purposes like buying and selling the business, mergers, divorce settlements, liquidation of partnership or LLC, etc. There are 4 major methods of valuation for the purpose of purchasing a business. 1. Establishing net worth, based on the balance sheet, is the simplest but the least reliable in reflecting the true value. 2. Determining the market value of asset by pricing the value of goods and equipment at current market prices. 3. Capitalization of earnings takes previous earnings and extrapolates it to future earnings. 4. Comparative analysis of the business to similar businesses in the area. None of these methods by themselves are very good at determining the value of a business. Valuation is more a global process. You or the professional valuator get as much information as you can and make a determination from there. The motivation for the sale is important. Just like with selling cars, some people sell for legitimate reasons while others are trying to unload a lemon to an unsuspecting doofus, which is why you should do some independent investigating before you buy, even if it means sitting around in your car watching how many customers go in and out. Some of the main things to look for are: overall profit margin, cost of goods versus selling price to get a rough idea of profit potential. What does the business own in equipment and property? What does the business owe to suppliers, in debts and in taxes? Does the business own any patents, trademarks or copyrights? Will the seller start another business to compete with the one just sold? If you get a clause in the contract saying he won't do this, it is sometimes called goodwill. Is the inventory claimed physically there? Stock sales for public companies. Is there a healthy volume of trades on the company shares? Valuation models try to average out a range of values for a business based on either or both geographic area and all the businesses in a particular field. Business valuators use the usual business information vendor databases, the free government ones and local resources to help them come to a logical analysis of what a business is worth. bvfls.aicpa.org, Business Valuation Section, American Institute of CPAs. NACVA.com, National Association of Certified Valuation Analysts. BizPepOnline.com. ValuationsInc.com/resources. BusinessBookPress.com. ABOSF.com, American Business Appraisers of San Francisco. INC.com/resources/valuations. AbramsValuation.com. AppraisersParadise.com. ASAEnet.org. Find your trade organization and see what it says about your business. BEA.doc.gov, the Bureau of Economic Analysis. BloodhoundRealty.com/bloodhoundblog/?P=134 Buying and selling a business. BusinessAppraiserCentral.com. BusinessValue.com. BusinessWeek.com. BVStrategy.com. Census.gov. CorporateInformation.com. Docosimo.com. Docosimo.com/download/DCF Valuation Services. DJInteractive.com. DNB.com. EdgarOnline.com. eLibrary.com. EY.com. FActiva.com. Financial-planning.com/pub/fp/200108010112.html. Freedgar.com. Hallis.com. Hoovers.com. InfoQ.com/articles/real-options-enhance-agi Merceronvalue.com. MGFS.com, Media General Financial. MikeHbar.org/section/business valuation. Moodus.com. MultipleXnet.com. Nexus.com. RobbieNexSocal.com, business broker, Robinex of Southern California. SCHIPool.com, Houston, TX. Services. StandardandPoor's.com. Stats.bls.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics. SunBusinessValuations.com. ValuationTax.cch.group.com/focus-on-tax/2005-04/valuation-cross-exam-questions.pdf, the CCH. Business Valuation Guide. webledger.villagemall.com.au/content/small-bus/buying_and_selling_a_business. WSJ.com. American Society of Appraisers. Number 125. 555, Herndon Parkway. Herndon, Virginia, 20170. 800 ASU Valu. 800-537-2069. 703-478-2228. Appraisers.org. Appraisal Institute. 875 North Michigan Avenue. Number 2400. Chicago, Illinois, 60611. 312-335-4100. AppraisalInstitute.org. Appraisal Institute of Canada. 111 Portage Avenue. Winnipeg, Manitoba. Canada R3GOS8. AICanada.org. Appraisers Association of America. 386 Park Avenue South. NYC 10016. 212-889-5404. Fax, 212-889-5503. Lit of appraisers with their specialties. International Society of Appraisers. Riverview Plaza Office Park. Number 320. 16040 Crisson Road. Seattle, Washington, 98188-2929. 241-0359. Fax, 206-241-0436. Forappraisers.com. Clerical career. Many clerical jobs require basic office skills like the ability to use a computer, but beyond that, it's almost all on-the-job training, learning the job necessary for that particular office. Clerical involves administrative, shipping, receiving, dispatch, mail sorting, records processing, billing, bookkeeping, filing, phone orders, etc. To be a postal clerk, go to your local employment office. You will have to take a civil service test. American Management Association. 1601 Broadway. NYC 10019 to 7420. 800-262-9699. 212-586-8100. Fax, 212-903-8168. Amana.org. National Management Association. 2210 Arbor Boulevard. Dayton, Ohio 45439. NMA1.org. National Retail Federation. 325 7th Street Northwest. Number 1100. Washington, D.C. 20004. 800 NRF How To. 202-783-7971. Fax, 202-737-2849. nrf.com. General Clerical Info. Communications, public relations, and marketing, social media groups and job websites. comnetwork.org. Community, the communications network. new.prsa.org/find-a/find-a-mentor. Mentor Program, Public Relations Society of America. linkedin.com/group/82242/profile. LinkedIn Group, Public Relations and Communications. ama.org/pages/default.aspx. Professional Organization, American Marketing Association. cprs.ca. Professional Organization, Canadian Public Relations Society. prsa.org. Professional Organization, Public Relations Society of America. jobs.ama.org. Job Board, American Marketing Association. mediabistro.com/jobs/openings. Job Board, Media Bistro. jobs.marketingjobs.com/jobseeker/search/results. Job Board, Marketing Jobs. dice.com/jobs?search ID =2142969148317. Job Board, Dice. jobs.prsa.org. Job Board, Public Relations Society of America. Chapter 3. A Business Job Guide 3. Operations Research Career. You can read a more in-depth version of this article. Go to bls.gov/ocos/ocos044. Organizations develop their own ways of making and carrying out plans. Unfortunately, these processes are not always the best way in light of the organization's overall goals. Operations research analysts help organizations plan and operate in the most efficient and effective manner. They accomplish this by applying the scientific method and mathematical principles to organizational problems so that managers can evaluate alternatives and choose the course of action that best suits the organization. Operations research analysts are problem solvers. The problems they tackle are for the most part those encountered in large business organizations: business strategy, forecasting, resource allocation, facilities layout, inventory control, personnel schedules and distribution systems. The method they use generally revolves about a mathematical model or set of equations that explains how things happen within the organization. Models are simplified representations that enable the analyst to break down systems into their component parts, assign numerical values to each component and examine the mathematical relationships between them. These values can be altered to determine what will happen to the system under different sets of circumstances. Different types of models include simulation, linear programming, and game theory models. Because many of these techniques have been computerized, analysts need to be able to write computer programs or use existing ones. Regardless of the industry or structure of the organization, operations research entails a similar set of procedures. Managers begin the process by describing the symptoms of a problem to the analyst. The analyst then defines the problem, which sometimes is general in nature and at other times specific. After analysts define the problem, they learn everything they can about it. They research the problem, then break it into its component parts, then they gather information about each of these parts. Usually this involves consulting a wide variety of personnel. Operations research analysts are employed in most industries. Major employers include computer and data processing services, commercial banks and savings institutions, insurance carriers, telecommunication companies, engineering and management services firms, manufacturers of transportation equipment, air carriers, and the federal government. About 2 out of 10 analysts work for management, research, public relations, and testing agencies that do operations research consulting for firms that do not have an in-house operations research staff. Most analysts in the federal government work for the armed forces. In addition, many operations research analysts who work in private industry do work directly or indirectly related to national defense. Employers look for college graduates who have a strong background in quantitative methods with exposure to computer programming. Employers prefer applicants with a graduate degree in operations research or management science, mathematics, statistics, business administration, computer science, or other quantitative disciplines. Regardless of education background or prior work experience, the employer usually plays a large role in the training process. New workers typically participate in on-the-job training programs, working closely with experienced workers until they become proficient. Generally, they help senior analysts gather information and run computer programs. The organization also sponsors skill improvement training for experienced workers, helping them keep up with new developments in operations research techniques as well as advances in computer science. Some analysts attend college and university classes on these subjects. Organizations are increasingly using operations research and management science techniques to improve productivity and quality and reduce costs. This reflects growing acceptance of a systematic approach to decision-making by top managers. This trend is expected to continue and should greatly stimulate demand for these workers in the years ahead. More retailers are using operations research to design store layouts, select the best store location, analyze customer characteristics, and control inventory, among other things. Airlines are using operations research to determine the best flight and maintenance scheduled, select the best routes to service, analyze customer characteristics, and control fuel consumption, among other things. Motel chains are beginning to utilize operations research analysis to improve their efficiency. They analyze automobile traffic patterns and customer attitudes to determine location, size, and style of new motels. Like other management support functions, operations research is spread by its own success. Demand should be strong in the manufacturing sector as firms expand existing operations research staff in the face of growing foreign competition. More and more manufacturers are using mathematical models to study parts of the organization for the first time. USAJob.gov, 800-877-8339, work for the federal government. Books about operations management are at #658.5 or TS155 at the library. You should be able to find a textbook at a college bookstore. stats.bls.gov/ocos/ocos044.htm, Operations Research Analysts. mat.gsi.cmu.edu/jobs.html, Operations Research Jobs. cio.com/research/scm, Supply Chain Management. forecast.umkc.edu/vtours, virtual tours of organizations. efers.org/ioe. Informs.org, Operations Research Society. iso.ch/iso/n, International Organization for Standardization. mapnp.org/library/opsemgnt/opsemgnt. mhhe.com/ucenes/opsci/pom. tutor.ms.unimlb.edu.au. twigg.info/tommy. Institute for Operations Research and the Management Sciences. 901 Elkridge Landing Road. Number 400. Linthicum, Maryland 21090-2909. 800-446-3676. Fax 410-684-2963. Informs@informs.org. Informs.org. Several booklets about careers in math and operations research. Military Operations Research Society. 101 South Whiting Street. Number 202. Alexandria, Virginia 22304. 703-751-7290. Fax 703-751-8171. mooresoffice@aol.com. moores.org. Mathematical Association of America. 1529 18th Street Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20036. maa.org. Operations Management Education and Research Foundation. POB 835991. Richardson, Texas 75085. 214-368-5393. Operations Research Society of America. MT. Royal and Guilford Abbey. Baltimore, Maryland 21202. 301-528-4146. Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics. 3600 University City Science Center. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19104. SciAm.org. Executive Officer Job Websites. Online.barons.com. The Wall Street Journal Online.wsj.com. Forbes.com. Businessweek.com. Money.cnn.com. ft.com. Chief Executive. chiefexecutive.net. ceo.com. amana.org. American Management Association, AMA. 1601 Broadway. NYC 10019 to 7420. 877-566-9441. amana.org. Association of Financial Professionals, AFP. 4520 East West Highway. Number 750. Bethesda, Maryland 20814-3574. 301-907-2862. afponline.org. Business Professionals of America, BPA. 5454 Cleveland Avenue. Columbus, Ohio 43231-4021. 800-334-2007. JSDIEG@bpa.org. bpa.org. CEO.com. CEO.com. Chief Executive. One Sound Shore Drive. Number 100. Greenwich, Connecticut 06830-7251. 203-930-2700. Contact@chiefexecutive.net. chiefexecutive.net. Financial Executives International, FE. 1250 Headquarters Plaza West Tower, 7th floor. Morristown, New Jersey 07960-6837. 973-765-1000. Financialexecutives.org. Financial Management Association International, FMA. University of South Florida, College of Business Administration. Tampa, Florida, 33620-5500, 813-974-2084. fma@coba.usf.edu. fma.org. Institute of Certified Professional Managers, ICPM. James Madison University. Harrisonburg, Virginia, 22807. 540-568-3247. icpm.biz. Junior Achievement, JA. 1 Education Way. Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80906-4477. 719-540-8000. JuniorAchievement.org. National Management Association, NMA. 2210 Arbor Boulevard. Dayton, Ohio, 45439-1506. 937-294-0421. NMA@nma1.org. nma1.org. Information Officer Job Websites. CIO.com. Miss Quarterly Executive. Simnet.org. NACO.org/careers. CIO Executive Council. 492 Old Connecticut Path. Framingham, Massachusetts, 01701-4584. 508-766-5696. CEC_info@cio.com. council.cio.com. CompTIA. 3500 Lacey Road. Number 100. Downers Grove, Illinois, 60515-5439. 866, 835-8020. CompTIA.org. National Association of State Chief Information Officers, NACIO. C/OAMR Management Services, 201 East Main Street. Number 1405. Lexington, Kentucky, 40507-2004. 859-514-9153. NACO.org. National Center for Women in Technology, NCWT. 231 Atlas Building, University of Colorado. Boulder, Colorado, 80309-0322. 303-735-6671. info@ncwit.org. ncwit.org. School of Information. 510-642-1464. Admissions at iSchool. ischool.berkeley.edu. Society for Information Management, SIM. 1120 Route 73. Number 200. Mount Laurel, New Jersey, 08054-5113. 800-387-9746. sim@simnet.org. simnet.org. Tech America. 601 Pennsylvania Avenue, NW, North Building. Number 600. Washington, D.C., 20004. 202-682-9110. techamerica.org.